I think even silence is good enough if you're listening, if you appreciate someone, if you feel some kind of regard. All the rest is unnecessary. Thank you, Economic Times and Slack, for presenting this. I had a chat with Soumya and Pooja as to what would be something good to talk about. I have about 6 or 7 lecture modules that range from gender justice to following your dreams and making your dreams pay for you, to leadership. And the most popular one, obviously, is leadership. I look at life lessons I've learned as a leader, leading a rugby team, leading 2 NGOs, and leading film teams when I have directed my 2 films and the 3rd one coming up. So in the chat that I had with Soumya and Pooja, I think what emerged was collaboration seems to be one of the cornerstones of what all of you are here for. And so what I've worked out is 3 seminal leadership lessons I've learned, one from each segment of my life. As you know, I inhabit 3 lives: the life of cinema, the life of international rugby, and the life of nonprofit organizations. So what I've put together is collaboration in its different avatars and how to actually use that when you're a leader in all 3. One example from each of the 3 worlds I inhabit. So without further ado, let's talk about cinema. So directing a film is actually one of the easiest manifestations of leadership you'll ever find. There is no challenge to you. There is nobody snapping at your heels. There are no targets to reach. You pretty much are the acclaimed, written, it's on your contract, arbiter of all things that will happen in the film. But you have with you terrific professionals. An art designer, guy or the lady who designs the room. There'll be chandeliers. The colors will be white, gold, and dark brown. There's a costume designer who'll decide who wears what material, what clothes, what color, what drape, what period. There's a sound designer who'll say, okay, I'm going to be designing the sound around the entire film, etc., etc., etc. Of course, the photographer, the DOP, director of photography. So you, as a director, you have terrific professionals, all of whom, figuratively, are waiting at the start line of a 100-meter race, crouched on the starting blocks with their index finger and their thumb 1 millimeter behind the starting line, waiting for the starter's gun. The starter's gun is the director's vision. Without the director's vision, they're going to be stuck at the starting line. So if you're looking at collaboration in a movie, and it's all about collaboration, it cannot start without a vision. No vision, no collaboration. And it comes to stark reality in cinema where, I'm going to give you an example. My director of photography, the night before the shoot, says to me, how do you see this love-making scene that you're shooting tomorrow? How do you see it? Literally, that's what it means in cinema. How do you see it in your mind's eye? And my answer is, I see this love-making sequence like 2 samurai at dawn. Like 2 Japanese warriors wielding samurai swords at dawn. So the DOP says, wow, okay. So do I see shadows, long shadows? I said, yeah, you can. Can I see smoke, fog, dawn. I said, yeah, you can. Can we have them wherever they're making love, whichever room? Can it be glass at the back so I can see the valley below, or at least clouds rising from the valley below? I said, yes, you can. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to light it low inside the room onto them making love, so that their long shadows get thrown through the glass onto the clouds at the back. The clouds form a screen, so you get long shadows coming up. And what you actually see is a balletic dance of shadows, and lit low to the people there, the shadows at the back, right through. So yeah, can do. And the costume person says, Japanese, Japanese, Japanese. I'm thinking black, white, and red. I'm thinking that's just the Japanese minimalism and the three primary colors that emerge in my mind. Like, yeah, that sounds good. So what we can do is we can have, obviously they're naked, they're having sex, but the clothes that she has shed, like a red pool of blood, is a satin robe on the floor. And what he has shed is like a scattering of ravens in black, a t-shirt, shorts on the other side. And the art director says, and the floor is dark brown, almost black, and there's not a bed, it's a futon, 6 inches, 8 inches, with a mattress on which they are. And there's glass at the back. So it's dark brown floor, a pool of blood, a scattering of ravens, white silk sheets. White silk sheets, white, dark brown, red, black. In the corner, a long 6-foot-high glass vase with 2 red, massive lilies drooping out of it. And the sound designer says, I hear wind. I just hear wind. And I hear breath. Breath. And I also hear a wind chime somewhere in the distance. So I'm going to put a wind chime in the corner in silver. Silver wind chime, 2 drops of drooping red in that corner, a red pool of blood here, scattering of black ravens, creamy white silk sheets, fog rising up off the back, low angle, shadows, and the lovemaking will be balletic. Can you see it? Can you slowly get a sense of it? Now, if I had said, lovemaking like 2 wrestlers in an akhada in Haryana, the DOP would have said, got it. I see heat, hot, sand, contact, spray, aggression. The art director would have said, let's have earth colors and let's make it, it's all about sweat. It's all about effort. It's all about passion. It's all about contact. The music would be different, etc., etc., etc. Yeah? So the collaboration in cinema can only start if you fire the gun. There is no collaboration without one unified vision. And if you have great professionals, they will run with that vision. They don't need you to tell them the nitty-gritties. You just have to supply that end. That's how I see it. That's the feeling, that's the smell. That's the essence of what I want. From the world of rugby, I think collaboration is very, very, very integral to the sport, more than probably any other sport in the world, outdoor sport, but different. So the nature of the sport, I know all of you, if any of you have seen it, it's like God, people killing each other on that field, just piling over each other. What the hell is going on? Yeah? Rugby is played roughly on the size of a football field, and there are 15 people who play it, or 12 people, or 10 people, or 7 people, depending on the format. Whatever the number of people, each part of the field is cut into channels. So let's say if you look behind you for a second, this gold paneling that's there are about 12 panels. So if this room was cut into channels, and each channel was about 10 feet wide, there might be 12 channels. And in rugby, each player has to handle their corridor. Nobody can come through my corridor, and my job is to go through this corridor. Any danger coming from here, I will tackle and bring down, and any opportunity in my corridor, I will make yardage. It's that simple. But the game is dynamic. The ball shifts. The ball doesn't, you just don't stand here waiting, corridor mein aa gaya, main khelunga. No. You have to move with the game. There are only 7, 10, 12, or 15 of you, and the width of a game is 70 meters. So you're going to keep moving, like almost like a chain, this way and that way. And there will be moments when the game will break down, and you'll have to do something else. Whatever you do, wherever you find yourself, you still have responsibility for that channel. No ingress, only moving forward. You still have that responsibility, but your role changes. Your role changes because now you are at what I would call the breakdown, where the ball has fallen. Your role now is to get the ball. Or you are in the channel next to where the ball has broken down. Somebody's getting the ball, and if those guys get the ball, the biggest, heaviest guy is going to come right at you with the ball in his hand or her hand. So your job here is to first create a fortress around the ball. Whereas if you were outside 5th or 6th or 7th, your job would be, they're running with the ball, they're running, they're passing, I have to stop this guy. It's faster but cleaner somehow. So what happens is, the essence remains the same. Each person essentially is doing what they would do in any channel, but depending on where they are, they will have to adapt. You can't just say, this is my strength, and I'm not going to come in there because the ball is broken down. There are many times in an organization when the ball breaks down and somebody has to become the fort, whereas earlier the person was on the outside. So the nature of collaboration in this is, if you can't be 2 or 3 different things with the same attitude to the company, the game, whatever, if you can't be adaptable, you're not going to be able to move further onto a better team or a better team or a better team. It's not going to happen. Word will spread that he can only hang around near the ball. If the ball is spun out, he's not very good. Or she can only hang around when the ball is spun out. When things happen and the breakdown happens and the hard, massive hits are happening there, you won't find her there. You see what I mean? That's the nature of what I learned leading a rugby team. That you have to then drill it into everyone's head. It's not enough to know that channel work is what you do, but you should be prepared to play in any channel at any point of time on the team. And the best players in the world, you will look at them physically and you will realize that they look neither like me, nor do they look like a wrestler. They look like something in between. Somebody who is agile, strong, hard, fast. You have to have a great rugby player will be one of the most complete sports persons, physical specimens on the planet. And that metaphorically, if you transfer that into any industry, is what one should aspire to be. And finally, lessons from the world of nonprofit. So I founded two nonprofits, as you heard. And the collaboration here, I find, is the example I've taken is very, very different. It's not about helping people. It's about how we used to raise funds at the foundation. At the foundation, we raised funds through auctions, which sounds quite ordinary, except that we had sport auctions and memorabilia donated of the kind and from people that the Wall Street Journal said that this is the greatest cross-sport auction ever. And this was, and it's not, thank you, it's to do with the philanthropy of the sports persons. Federer gave us his shoes when he broke Bjorn Borg's ATP record. And Mahesh Bhupati got them for us. We had the ICC World Cup winning ball in 2011. We got Schumacher, before he was grievously hurt, Schumacher to give us the entire asbestos vest that they wear inside from his German winning Grand Prix. We had, I mean, it was extraordinary. Abhinav Bindra gave us his, it's ridiculous to say this, his Olympic winning rifle. He had 2 rifles, he gave us one of them. Yeah, Sachin gave us the 3rd highest scoring bat in his life. Got us 42 lakhs, one piece. Just really, really extraordinary stuff from all sports. Magic Johnson from the past. We had an old legends category, and there was Gavaskar. I got the 4 spinners, Bedi, Prasanna, Chandrasekhar, Venkatraghavan, to give us their blazers. Tiger Pataudi, I mean, just extraordinary. Anyway, now, we used to spend 50 lakhs on this fundraiser. It's ridiculous. Who does that? But I wanted it to be the finest evening in anyone's life. And I was going to call 200 of the most philanthropic and the wealthiest people in the city. Now, when you have those people coming in, what do you want them to feel? Very simple. First, at home. And second, the cause. So now all of us run an NGO. All of us spend our time with our kids from Manipur, our kids from Andaman Nicobar Islands. All of us spend our time looking at the right schools for them, the right colleges. All of us spend our time thinking about what would be the perfect sport for this really talented, tall kid from Manipur to play, etc., etc. We don't spend our time on fundraisers. So at this point of time, you have to start asking yourself as a leader, what else can they do that I can use in this fundraiser? What else can my team member do? She's always been very, very focused on how things look, the aesthetics of things. So listen, this evening, I want you to handle how the room looks. Is it white and gold? Is it blue and green? What are the colors? How would it look? The other person is terrific, I've noticed, at people. So I just want you to work the room. Just make everyone comfortable. That's it. That's all you have to do. Just make people comfortable. Somebody else, I'm going to make, you just make the film on the foundation, you just make the film. Don't worry about anything. Finally, you turn up at the evening, you just make the film and deliver it to us. Somebody else, food. You're the food person. I've seen the way you talk about food. I've heard it. So you just look at the menu. And so what happens is that you start using and looking for people who have another side to them, which you can use to create, without a shadow of doubt, a world-class event. By the way, we had 5 or 6 of these, and each of them raised over 2 crores. The collaboration here, the vision is not something fancy, it's a fundraiser. It's not that, oh, you work your channel and let me see. No. It is what else can you do, because none of us can do this. Nobody's born to say, my function is to hold expensive fundraisers. No. But who can do that and make it world class? And that is the third arrow in your quiver, which is, I do this, but I also love this. And that will pay off in ways that you can't even imagine, because any leader worth her salt will be looking for people who have terrific skills, enthusiasm, passion, articulation for something else also. Automatically, you know this. Your eyes light up when there's that person who you can also talk about cinema or sport or architecture or stand-up comedy with. And it is those skills that will invariably, year after year after year, you'll find it's not just, oh, he's the funny guy, let him crack his old jokes and the stale jokes. It's not that. It's actually having people who have a knack for something. And it is that kind of collaboration which, the reason why I bring it out is because we don't often spend enough time on that. We need to actually look, especially when we're putting a team together. She's interesting. I don't know why. She's a rock climber. God knows. That says something about her. He's interesting. Why? Well, he was a stay-at-home father for 10 years. That's interesting. It's those things that you look at which, in my experience, always contribute and never actually take away. I think I've overstayed my welcome here. So I think we have some time for a Q&A. Happy doesn't have to be a Q. It can be an A. It can be an opinion. It can be a contribution. Please, you don't have to ask me any questions. But you can, please. And you can ask me.
So we'll take a couple of questions and you can just raise your hand and the mic passes on to you. 2 questions.
No, we have time for more than 2, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Rahul, I have a question. When you have such, passionate people in the team, which you were describing, with so vivid an imagination, somebody wanted the colors, someone wanted the screen, the wind, the sound of the wind. Now, if you're not able to meet all of that, any leader would really die for such passionate people with so much. I mean, that's the team which will really make it big. But if you're not able to, meet their expectations, and then that could be a letdown for them, many of them. And particularly passionate people become low very soon also. So how
if your vision doesn't meet their expectation?
All of theirs, because different people had so many, they had different expectations.
Right.
So how to handle that? Yeah.
You just have to be a better leader, man. Just got to get a better vision. Or you got to, then you can't hire such people who are expecting this from you. If they're expecting that from you, and your actual worth is much less, and this is not personal, obviously, and you know that you're not actually that inspirational or that visionary or leader, then hire judiciously. Hire people who can actually respect you. Otherwise, in 10 seconds, they will lose that respect for you. If I have understood what you were saying. I can hear you. The organization could impose this. Yes, that is, see, the thing is, yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I think if the organization imposes restraints, your team is not stupid. They know. They know that, yaar, itna hi hoga. Yahan agar kaam karna hai, to itna hi hoga. ठीक है, इतना में हम क्या कर सकते हैं? I think that's a reality that almost everybody works within, because I mean, we can have a longer conversation, but it starts with fear. Fear of not making enough money, fear of not being successful, which is what actually cripples, you self-cripple before you can even express when you actually start the entire enterprise, the entire organization. But that's a conversation for a different moment. But you're absolutely right, sir. I think that most organizations will tend to have a limited vision. But the point that hopefully I was trying to make was that whoever you are actually working with, if you can't articulate the end product, fundraiser hai, yahan pe ye hona chahiye. The end, this is how I imagine the end. That's how the music should sound at the end. You use a harmonium, you use a violin, you use Punjabi rap folk sing, I don't know. But that's what I want to get at. I think just the idea of to abandon that laziness, to not actually articulate a sharp vision for everything. For everything. Even now, as president of the Indian Rugby Union, I always ask, what is the intent behind this action? Every action that you do should have a very, very crisp, clear intent. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. You have to have intent. So anyway, yeah.
Rahul.
Yes.
This is Sanjay from Mahindra.
Please sit, Sanjay.
Okay. So I must tell you that, it was mesmerizing, it was mystical, it was complete poetry, let me tell you. The way you are moving your hands, everything. I mean, I would not kind of...
I need to take you home with me.
I was
come to Bombay.
fascinated. Okay. So my question is that, I saw that rugby player in you. I mean, you seem to be quite wide like a rugby player who in one hand is defending his corridor, but same time, exhibit that great ability to sort of, adapt and create with joy. So tell me about that individual excellence, Rahul. How did you do? Because, we professional, we keep intellectualizing, that एक साथ multiple चीजें हम handle नहीं कर सकते, etc., etc. There's something cross-cutting thing. आप बहुत ही smoothly transition करते हैं non-profit organization से rugby.
I understand, Sanjay.
Please.
Thank you. Look, it's not a calculation. As a kid, I wrote poetry and I boxed. That was just me. And it actually challenged a lot of notions of masculinity and what it means to be a jock in school. I was boxing captain and I was English elocution captain. It's just something that I was loved and I was born with, and thankfully, people still don't throw stones at me if I play rugby or if I act. So something must be working, but it's just, none of it was calculated. The only thing that has definitely been a calculation, Sanjay, is that every single thing I do because I want to. I don't give a rat's ass as to what the world thinks. Will it give me money? Will it give me fame? Will it give me power? The three main drivers of the world we live in today are fame, wealth, and power. Think about that and ask yourself which of the three drives you the most. It'll be a mix of the three. But for me, it was just like, I am basically just want to do what I want to do. And it would be great if the 11 people around me who I really loved and respected thought highly of what I did and approved of what I did. But that's just about it. Everything else, I just do as the rhythm. I don't like talking about myself. Let's talk about something
Hi,
else.
Rahul.
Hi.
This is Rahul from Tata Group here.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for this inspirational one. Just one question. How have you handled failure in life? How have you dealt with it? Give us something. And
Unfortunately, I have, as I can see, 2 minutes left. I have a whole talk, Rahul, on the 3 greatest failures of my life. The 3 greatest humiliations. And I just want to say this to everybody. What is our nightmare? That I'm walking in public without my clothes. That dream, that nightmare, that horrible feeling, or I'm falling. What is it all about? It's just about that sickening, sickening fear of being humiliated in public. of having somebody slapping you and taking your clothes off and everybody pointing their finger at you and laughing at you. And I actually talk about the 3 times that happened to me. Metaphorically. But almost as bad. And I cannot even tell you how terrifying, humiliating, what a bad space it takes you into. I mean, I wish I could talk to you about those 3 experiences. One is from rugby. One is in cinema, one of the first films I did. And one is from non-profit, which was the easiest one to deal with. But I can only say this. If you don't do something about that taste of, have you ever tasted your own blood? It tastes rusty, like metal. If you don't do anything about taking away that rusty taste of failure in your mouth, nobody else will. Nobody in this world gives a damn about you. Nobody. Barring your parents, if you come in and say, I've murdered someone, they say, pehle kha lo, haath dho ke kha lo, uske baad baat karenge. Barring that. So if you don't do something about your failure, nobody else will. And it will not leave you. It will not leave you. It will destroy you. Every single aspect of your life will be destroyed little by little by little by little by the fact that you now disrespect yourself a little more. You have to do something about it. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to arrest the decline, the moral decline. Because what will happen is, if you don't do anything about it, you'll justify it. Raat gayi, baat gayi, yaar, chodo. Oh, let's get up. You're slightly more hollow than from yesterday. And so you will say something and do something to cover up that failure the next time. And it'll be followed by another one. Because essentially, morally, you won't be as strong. And it'll go boop, 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 till you're left with nothing. And then your philosophy will be, who cares? Who cares? I have no regrets. Incorrect. The person who is moral, who has intent, who has integrity, will regret. I can't understand when people say, hey, if I had my life to live again, I'd do the same thing, no regrets. Are you crazy? I'm riddled with regrets. I'm riddled with regrets. My acting in one scene, in one film, I remember it. I regret I wasn't as good. The way I treated my father one day when he asked me to do something, I regret it. My arrogance at dealing with somebody, I regret it. But I do something about it. I apologize. I change my action. I turn it around the next time. I have to. I won't be able to sleep well the next night. So that, and I wish, if someday we can come back here and talk, that is my overarching feeling about failure. And people say, failure is something you learn from. I wish it never happened. I wish it never happened. I've written a piece on what it means to be an actor, and there's one line which says, shame is our friend, regret our salvation. And I think that should apply to the whole of humanity. Because when you have shame, it means you have a conscience. And when you have regret, it means you know what is right, what is wrong, and what kind of self-respect you should be holding for yourself. On that somber note, enjoy the rest of this, of the conference, of the seminar. Thank you for your time. Sorry I couldn't give you a more detailed answer, Rahul, but it's there. Sometime in life, if our paths cross, I'd be very happy to share it with you. Thank you. Thanks so much.